Phones off. Good evening, everyone. We're ready to begin tonight's City of Gardena regular City Council meeting for March 27, 2018. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
Noting the presence of all council members.
Okay. So tonight we had no closed session. We did have a study session earlier tonight. And now we're ready to begin with our Pledge of Allegiance and invocation. So tonight's Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Morgan Harris and Isabella Mendoza. Immediately following that, if you can please remain standing while our invocation will be led by the Reverend Ruben Del Pilar. So please stand.
Face the flag and place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing.
Let us pray. Lord, we come before you this day, giving you thanks and giving you praise for the awesome privilege that we have to be in this city, as we have our mayor, our city council members that are leading and helping us lead this city to go forward. We pray blessings over their lives. I pray that you protect them, that you protect our police department, all of our police officers, our fire department, and every area that we have serving our city. We pray blessing over their lives. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Okay, everyone can be seated. If I can have our two pledgers, please come back to the front. Morgan and Isabella. So tonight we were led in the Pledge of Allegiance by two students from Junipero Serra High School. The first one was Morgan Harris, who's a 12th grader, and Isabella Mendoza, who's also a 12th grader. Morgan is the president of Serra High School's Associated Student Body. Morgan, would you like to say anything?
I would just like to say thank you for this privilege and honor to come to you guys' meeting and start off with the pledge. It's an honor.
Okay, well, thank you. Can you tell us who brought you here tonight? Did your parents bring you or your principal?
No, I'm mobile by myself.
That's right, you're a senior. Okay. Should have known that. Okay. Okay, so also tonight we were led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Isabella Mendoza as well, and she is the student body vice president. Would you like to say anything?
Thank you for letting me come here and Morgan to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, did you two drive as well, or?
Oh, no, my mom drove me.
Okay, well, let's give her a round of applause, and you too for driving yourself here. Thank you both, and congratulations on being such outstanding students here. And you guys will be graduating this year, correct?
Yeah.
So good luck and congratulations on that, as well as being seniors and graduating this year. So thank you again. Okay, so tonight's invocation was led by the Reverend Ruben Del Pilar, and if you'll please come back to the front as well. So the Reverend Pilar is the pastor at Community Worship Center, which is located at 15709 South Normandy Avenue. Reverend Del Pilar has served as a pastor of Community Worship Center since October of 2013. For the previous 18 years, he served as its youth worship pastor. His parents, the founding pastors, recently retired after pastoring in Gardena for 39 years. Pastor Ruben has worked extensively with the youth throughout the years and has traveled across the United States conducting leadership workshops and special retreats for at-risk youth in New York, Texas, Florida, and California. He desires to see families transformed and renewed, and is something that drives Pastor Ruben. And he has made it his ultimate goal to help the people in Gardena to reach their true potential. Reverend Del Pilar graduated from Biola University, earning a bachelor's degree in music with a minor in theology. He is working on a master's of divinity degree. He currently lives in our neighboring community of Carson, along with his wife and 2 children. Of note, Community Worship Center will have a grand reopening celebration on Easter Sunday, April 1st, 2018. Pastor, would you like to say anything?
Just that you made our announcement. We're excited about that, but also we have secured Masfukai Park this Sunday. We're going to have an Easter egg hunt for the community. We're expecting over 500 kids. We're going to have over 5,000 eggs and jumpers and food. It's all free for the community. So everyone come out if you can this Sunday. All right.
Okay, well, thank you very much, and we appreciate you leading us in the invocation this morning. Everyone, please give him a round of applause as well. So next we have a presentation. As you know, at all of our council meetings, we now honor military veterans here. And tonight's veteran that we will be honoring goes by the name of Kenjiro Ken Akuni. And I'm just going to read his bio first, and then afterwards you can come to the front if you'd like to say anything. Mr. Akuni was born in Turlock, California on July 3rd, 1923, at the age of 10. His family moved to Japan, where he continued his schooling. When he was 15 years old, he and an older brother moved back to the States. He worked as a schoolboy and was later taken in by a Japanese farming family, the Seisho. He worked as a schoolboy and with whom he lived until World War II broke out. After the attack on Pearl Harbor and the enactment of Executive Order 9066, he and the Seisho family were moved to the Merced Temporary Detention Facility in California, and later the Amache Granada internment camp in Colorado. In 1942, while at the camp, Ken volunteered to join the service and was recruited into the Military Intelligence Service with the U.S. Army due to his knowledge of the Japanese language. He underwent basic training at Camp Shelby in Mississippi and was also sent to military language training camp at Camp Savage and Fort Snelling in Minnesota. In January of 1944, he was sent to China, Burma, India Theater and was assigned to the Office of War Information. His task was to interrogate Japanese prisoners of war to retrieve information about the Japanese Imperial Army, which was used in propaganda pamphlets distributed to Japanese soldiers during the war. The war in the Pacific ended in July of 1945, and Mr. Akuni, who eventually achieved the rank of Staff Sergeant, was discharged to return home at that time. However, he wanted to return to Japan to spend time with the members of his family who had been living in Japan during the war. So he signed up through the civilian services to work as a linguist with the occupational forces, where he was assigned as a translator to the war crimes trial, including that of General Hideko Tojo, who was responsible for ordering the attack on Pearl Harbor. While in Japan, he met and married his wife, Alice. They moved back to the States in 1949 and settled in Gardena. He worked at Hughes Aircraft for over 31 years, and he and his wife raised 5 children: Karen, Teresa, Ken, Kathleen, and David. Also of note, Ken Akune has been an integral part of the Go for Broke National Education Center organization since it began in 1989. He was one of the founding members and amongst the most active Nisei veterans within the organization. He has made significant contributions of both his time and resources to the creation and construction of the organization's monument in Little Tokyo in Los Angeles. So tonight, as we're honoring Mr. Akuni, he was actually nominated by Councilmember Tanaka. And Councilmember, would you like to say anything before he comes forward?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Akuni, thank you so much for your service. The 442 is the most decorated Japanese unit, and we appreciate that you continue to promote them, to highlight them, especially if you have not been downtown in Little Tokyo to see the Go for Broke Center. Do it. It's a great place. You'll see a lot of things that dealt with World War II and the Japanese Americans that fought in that war. I'm proud because my dad was a part of the 522, and I wish he was here to see how we honor those that fought in those trying times. So, Mr. Akuni, thank you so much. And I know Karen, his daughter, worked for the city, for the police department for many years, and Terry was a member of the Los Angeles Police Department. So we thank you for service because you carried that on with your family. He's brought an entire entourage, including the president of the National Museum and a lot of his friends. So we thank you so much for just attending. I know it was an effort. It took me half an hour to convince him to show up tonight. But thank you very much for being here and for serving our country.
Mr. Akunu, if you would like to come to the front to say, to the microphone here and say anything. Okay, I think he prefers just to take pictures tonight. So Councilmember Tanaka here will be presenting him with a special coin that we had designed specifically, commemorative coin that was specifically designed for us as we recognize our veterans.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The mic is on.
Thank you. And I could choke some of these people here that I really don't deserve this. We have plenty of veterans here tonight. Scott, my friend Jerry here, and my kid brothers. They're from the Korean War and the Vietnam War. So thank you very much, and thank you for honoring all the veterans. Thank you.
We also just like to note that a special recognition was sent over for Assemblymember Al Marasucci's office as well, that I believe, Mr. Akuni, you already have that in your presence now. So again, thank you for your service. We do appreciate it. So next, we are going on to proclamation. Tonight, it's a proclamation for Fair Housing Month, which is April 2018. And if we could have the Fair Housing Foundation Outreach Coordinator, Stephanie Liu, please come to the front while I read the proclamation here. It states here, whereas one of the greatest freedoms enjoyed by Americans is the freedom to live in a home of one's choice. Whereas this promise is made to us by the nation's fair housing law requires that all people be treated equally in connection with the sale or rental of housing, regardless of race, color, national origin, sex, gender identity, disability, sexual orientation, marital status, age, family status, or religion. And whereas 2018 marks the 50th anniversary of the Fair Housing Act, the original legislation targeted the elimination of housing discrimination in America. And whereas since the adoption of the fair housing legislation in April 1968, the month of April has been designated as Fair Housing Month. And further this year, the Fair Housing Foundation has organized events and activities to focus the attention on the issue of equal opportunity in housing. So now, therefore, we proclaim, and here in the city of Gardena, April 2018, to be Fair Housing Month in the city of Gardena, and call upon each citizen of the community to support fair housing and equal opportunity in housing efforts by putting into practice the principles of freedom, justice, and equality upon which this great nation was founded. So, Ms. Liu, would you like to say anything?
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. First, I want to thank you for the city for proclaiming April as Fair Housing Month. Fair Housing Foundation has been an honor to be working with the city as a fair housing provider. We also have enjoyed working with the city, the staff members, and we hope to continue working with the city to affirmatively further fair housing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we're moving on to appointments here. Does any member of the council have any appointments to be made to any commissions, committees, boards, or council at this time? If not, we're going to move on to the consent calendar. Hopefully everybody's had time to take a look at it. Does any member of the council wish to discuss any items separately on the consent calendar? If not, can I get a motion to approve as is?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Medina and a second by Councilmember Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, so there's no item 6 here now. Next, moving on to item number 7, which is Planning and Environmental Quality Commission action sheet. Under item number 7A1, does any member of the council wish to call for review, appeal, or receive and file this item here? Okay, this is one item that I would like to call for council review here. Not that anything is wrong with the project, I'd just like to see it in more detail. So if we could set up a hearing for that to move forward. I'd just like to see this project in more detail with plans drawn out as far as how it looks and the whole layout.
Second.
We don't need a second, we just. We need a second? No, we don't. Just call for a review.
Mayor Serta, this will be on the agenda item for the next available council meeting.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, next up is oral communications. We have 5 speakers tonight. I just want to remind everybody that you do have 3 minutes to speak. When you see the yellow light come on here, that alerts you that you've used up 2 minutes of your time. When the red light comes on, that shows you that your 3 minutes are up, and at that time, we just ask that you finish your statement. So the first speaker we have tonight is Bruce Dalrymple. Okay. You can come on up here. And then second, we have Deborah Griffin.
Turn the light on. Turn the light on. Turn the light on. There you go. Okay, thank you. Honorable Mayor and council members, my name is Bruce Dalrymple. I am president of the Gardena High School Art Collection Incorporated. It's a 501c3 nonprofit organization that oversees the care of the very valuable art collection owned by the student body of Gardena High School. We have 9 board members, 5 of which are alumni of Gardena High School. How many of you are aware of the art collection at Gardena High School?
Yeah.
Okay, good. The art collection started in 1919. Each graduating class would buy a work of art to donate to the student body as a parting gift. And this went on until 1956 when the new high school campus opened up. And it's an amazing collection. It is known in the art world. We have had pieces of art on display at the Autry Museum a couple of years ago, about 10 pieces. And it has also appeared at the Irvine Museum and a number of other museums in a very limited amount. But we are coming up on our 100th anniversary in 2019, and we are planning on a 100-year celebration of the art collection at the Pasadena Museum of Art, starting in March of 2019. And this collection is really an honor for the city to be recognized for. It is part of the legacy of the city. The community was involved in the collection of this art collection. And the project is quite expensive. It's costing roughly $250,000 to move the art, because it was held in a vault at the campus. It was not temperature controlled. There were insects in the vault. But we have retrieved them, sent them to conservator to restore the paintings at very expensive cost, on the average about $3,000 a painting. And then we also have moved the paintings into professional storage and insured them at more expense. And we are also having a book written of over 200 pages with color photographs of all the paintings. And it was written, it's being written, or is just about finished now, and being edited by an art historian. And it's going to be a beautiful art book. And on the front of it, the logo will have a big GHS on it. So it's really something to be proud of for the community of Gardena. To publish the book is also very expensive. Our total budget of around $250,000. We have had some success in raising money, but we do need more money to help the project along.
Go ahead. And
So we're
finish.
hoping that, that the city of Gardena will participate in, in being a part of this project. The people that donate money to the project will have their name in the book, providing they get their donations in within the next week and a half, because it's going to be going to print very soon. We have a website, ghsac.org, Gardena High School Art Collection, the initials, .org. And we have an address, a post office box at Gardena, at the post office in Gardena, box 111, Gardena 90248, where the donations can be sent there also. I have business cards and other letters that are available for people that are here. I think copies of the letter were put on your desks, I think. Is my time up?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay. So thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Deborah Griffin, and then after that is Steve Munyoma from Nice VFW.
Oh, turned it off. Good evening, Honorable Mayor Tasha and the Gardena Council members. My name is Deborah Griffin. And I come before you a little issue that has seemed to get out of hand right now, and we need to address it. And that is our parking enforcement. Apparently, 134th Street, of course you're aware of, have alley parking, where it's in the alley. Their garage is located in the alley. As you look at Exhibit 1 that I've given you in the alley, where it says Alley City, then you see the wall for 13409, 13405, and I use that as an example because we're not right next door to each other. And then you have the garage. In between where you see the 18 inches and the 85 feet are an area in between where the garage is, an area to park your vehicle, which you can park there without being in the alleyway. And that parking area is not in the city property, but on private property. It belongs to the homeowner. So in Exhibit 2, as you see, I got from the Gardena water, what do you call it, department over there for where they have the house. They have the alleyway, in which he has drawn the lines down there. In between there belongs to the city. The other outer area belongs to the homeowners. Which Exhibit 3, the parking enforcement came to come through there and say that the homeowners are parked in the alley. Exhibit 3 is an example of parking in the alley. That car is actually parked in the alley. And they should get a ticket. Exhibit 4 are the two homeowners who are parked on their property who are not in the alley that received a ticket. According to the parking enforcement, they are parked in the alley, and that's the reason why they gave them a ticket. It costs Gardena, money to give frivolous tickets. If they not understand, then they need to ask someone if they don't understand. I've been told we got new parking enforcement, and that's understandable. The young people need jobs, but they also need to be trained properly. If they're going to give tickets, make sure they're in the guidelines and not just giving them because they can. So I ask the council to please talk to the law enforcement, the chief, to talk to these parking enforcement, to pull their collars and say they do not have a freedom to give and do what they want, that we have guidelines, and not to cost Gardena City people money.
Ms. Griffin, can you, I don't know, is Chief Kang here tonight?
I'm sorry?
Okay, can you speak with Chief Kang in the back and maybe we can get this situation resolved?
Yes, I have spoke to him, and just hopefully I wouldn't have to come here if we had more understanding where they would listen, because I had to go get this.
Okay.
And I've already talked to him.
Okay, well, we will follow up with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Not a problem. Next is Steve Munyama from Nisei Veterans VFW. And then after that is Cheryl Sherman.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, my name is Steve Moriyama. I am the commander of the Gardena Nisei Memorial VFW Post 1961. As you know, the City of Gardena is hosting the Wall That Heals, a 375-foot replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C., starting next week. I'm representing the committee that is organizing the visit, and I would like to invite all of you, the residents of Gardena and our neighboring cities, to be part of this event. It is a great opportunity for us to honor these men and women who served in Vietnam. I'm sorry, I lost my track. And we're lucky enough to make it home. The event begins on Tuesday, April 3rd, as the City of Gardena Police Department will lead dozens of motor officers from the agencies across Los Angeles County, the Patriot Guard, and individual riders as they escort the wall from the Long Beach Veterans Memorial Hospital to here, the City Hall, making quick stops at Gardena High School and Perry Middle School for their bands to honor the wall with a quick song. On Wednesday, April 4th, the wall will be assembled at Mas Fukai Park by volunteers and will be open to the public 24 hours a day from about 7 p.m. until Sunday, April 8th at 2 p.m. On Saturday, April 7th, we will be hosting a welcoming event starting at 10 o'clock a.m. The event will be highlighted by our keynote speaker, the Honorable Judge Vincent Okamoto. Judge Okamoto, who is a Gardena High School graduate and former Gardena City Councilman, is also a highly decorated Vietnam veteran, earning 3 Purple Hearts, the Distinguished Service Cross, Silver Star, and more. He is our hometown hero. We are lucky to have this opportunity, and we hope that we will see you there. We are still looking for volunteers, so please spread the word. You can get more information at the Gardena Recreation Office at 310-217-9537. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council, friends of Gardena and residents. My name is Pauline Moses. For those of you who do not know me, I'm the Community Center Coordinator at Nakaoka, as well as the Veterans Day Coordinator. And just on behalf of the city, I would like to thank Steve Moriyama and Nisei VFW Post 1961, as well as VFW Post 3261 for all their efforts in helping us make this event a success. And I'd like to thank the city for bringing the event to Gardena. It's a replica. For those of us that can't get to D.C. to see it, you can see it here next week in the city of Gardena. So I invite you to bring your kids out, your grandkids out, and so they can be educated on something that the veterans have done to serve everybody. So once again, I thank you, and don't forget about the event that's coming up next week. Also, on the behalf of the city of Gardena, we are also having our Easter egg celebrations this weekend. We start at Nakaoka at 8 o'clock, at Mas Fukai, Raleigh Park, and Freeman Parks at 10 o'clock a.m. this coming Saturday. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Moses, I apologize. I forgot to mention your name, that you were a speaker on here.
That's okay.
So,
thank
you guys. Next, we have Cheryl Sherman, and then after that is Paulette Francis.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. Cheryl Sherman, Vice President of Friends of Gardena Willows Wetland Preserve. We're almost there. Next month, April. It's Earth Month. So all month at the Gardena Willows Wetland Preserve, we will be celebrating Earth Month. And we will be starting off on Sunday, April 8th, with Earth Day tours. And our tours will be docent guided from 1 to 4. And we will have lots of information pertaining to how the preserve interfaces with Earth Day. On April 28th, we will also be open for our to the public from 1 to 4 for self-guided tours. And we will have a brochure for you to take and go around to the numbered posts and gather information. On April 21st, it's our Earth Day Restoration Work Day. So, keeping with our theme, on that day, we're asking for lots of volunteers to come out and help us with restoring the preserve to a sample of what it was like in the olden days. And I'd also like to mention that between now and the end of the month, which I know is approaching shortly, Amazon Smile, or smile.amazon.com, if you happen to do any shopping on Amazon, I ask that you choose Friends of Gardena Willows as your charity to contribute to. They're giving 3 times from now till the end of the month donations. So it's a big deal. And we'd really love to have your help with enjoying your purchase and helping us at the same time. Thank you so much. And everyone, have a blessed Easter.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Paulette Francis.
Good evening, Mayor Serta and council members. I'm here on behalf of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Culture Committee and the City of Gardena to invite you all, council members, as well as our community, to honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. On April 4th, 1968, Dr. King was assassinated. From 1968 to 2018 marks 50 years since his death. And we're honoring Dr. King with a memorial tribute on Wednesday, April 4th, at the Raleigh Park Auditorium. Reception at 6 p.m. The program will start sharply at 7. Our Honorable Mayor Tasha Serta will deliver the welcome address. Our keynote speaker is Pastor Kirkpatrick Tyler from St. Mark AME. And our theme is 50 Years of the Dream, Where Do We Go From Here? It's important that we honor the life and legacy of Dr. King and that we remember the lessons that we learned from across the years. We could not have a fair housing proclamation had it not been for that struggle. And if ever there was a time that we need to remember his life and legacy and ideas of nonviolence and peace and equality among humanity, it's for such a time as this. So we invite the community to come out and join us as we honor Dr. King and his legacy, and hope to see you there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we're going on to department items. Item number 8B1, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Serta, members of the City Council. Please excuse my voice. I think I'm losing it. This is a public hearing regarding building code amendments. Resolution number 6309 sets forth findings for required amendments to the 2016 California State Building Code relative to global climate, topographic, and geological conditions. Ordinance number 1791 is repealing Chapter 15.04 of the Gardena Municipal Code and adopting a new Chapter 15.04, which adopts by reference the 2016 California State Building Code with amendments, adopts by reference the International Property Maintenance Code, and adopts by reference the 1999 Uniform Security Code, and finally adopts by reference the 2016 Los Angeles County Fire Code. On that note, I just want to let you know that the LA County Fire Marshal, Mr. Stillwagon, is here present representing the LA County Fire Department. Staff recommends that the city conduct a public hearing and adopt resolution number 6309 and ordinance number 1791. The ordinance was introduced by Mayor Pro Tem Medina at the February 27, 2018 City Council meeting. There is no fiscal impact. What is required by the City Council is to conduct a public hearing, adopt resolution number 6309, and adopt ordinance number 1791.
Okay, thank you. So this here is a public hearing, so we're opening the hearing as of this point here. Madam City Clerk, do we have any speakers who've requested to speak on this item?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments on this item here? No? Okay. Well, we can go ahead and close the hearing at this time. And like to ask that we, if I can get a motion to adopt resolution, we're actually going to take two of these together, to adopt resolution number 6309 and 1791. Can I get a motion for that?
So moved. Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Medina and a second by Councilmember Kaskanian. Will you call for the roll, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, moving on to item number 8B2. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor, Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8B2 is resolution number 6312, confirming the findings of the 2016 and 2017 annual housing element progress reports. The annual housing element progress report is an annual document required by the State of California of Housing and Community Development, HCD. Due to an administrative oversight, the 2016 annual report was not submitted. The 2017 housing report is due by April 2018. The 2016 and 2017 annual housing element progress reports require City Council approval prior to their formal submittal to HCD. There is no fiscal impact. What is required is to adopt resolution number 6312.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments regarding this item here? No? If not, can I get a recommendation to adopt resolution number 6312?
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, a motion was made by Councilmember Henderson and a second by Councilmember Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8B3. Mr. City Manager.
Just give me a second here, Mayor. Mayor, Serta, members of the City Council, agenda item number 8B3 is the authorization to purchase 2019 F550 Super Cab XL 192-inch VersaLift in the amount of $162,921.42. Staff recommends that the City Council authorize the purchase of this 2019 Ford F50 Super Cab for the Street Division of the General Services Department. The purchase of this vehicle will replace a 1988 yes, I said that, 88 traffic signal truck, which has reached its end of useful life and falls well below the current air quality standards as required by the Environmental Protection Agency and the California Air Resources Board. The proposed 2019 Ford F550 Super Cab is an ultra-low emission vehicle. The vehicle meets the latest low emission standards. The purchase will be made through the National Joint Powers Alliance, a multi-state contract resulting in a significant cost to the city. The NJPA is a member of the National Coalition for Public Procurement. This cooperative purchase program offers vendors an opportunity to compete with their lowest bids and enable municipalities to obtain the best overall price for the procurement. The 2019 Ford F-550 will be purchased with budgeted gas tax allocated in 2017-18 budget in the amount of $162,921. What is required is for the City Council to approve the purchase of this vehicle.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? If not, can I get a motion to authorize the purchase of a new traffic signal truck?
So moved. Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Tanaka and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8C1. Mr. City Manager.
Item 8C1 is the approval of a 60-month lease extension with William Scotsman, Inc. for the police modular building at a total cost of $121,054.20. As you well know, the police modular building outside the police department houses the Detective Bureau Crime Suppression Unit, Special Enforcement Unit, and Traffic Services of the division. The modular building is in the parking lot directly to the west of the police station. In October 2012, the police department was undergoing building improvements to provide more efficiency in operations due to an increase in scope of services and additional personnel. At the October 9, 2012 council meeting, the City Council approved an agreement with William Scotsman to provide a new modular building in the police department back lot to accommodate the growing needs of the department. The lease consisted of 60 months at a total cost of $2,017.50 per month, beginning February 24, 2013, which ran through February 23, 2018. In recent discussions with staff William Scotsman, they proposed a 10% increase above the current rate for the lease renewal. Following negotiations, William Scotsman agreed to another 60 months lease at the same rate, which is always good news, through February 23, 2023. Barring the 10% increase, this agreement at the current level rate will result in a savings of over $12,000 for the duration of the lease. The total cost is $121,054.20. The funding source is general fund rental charges. What's required by the City Council is to approve the lease agreement.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? No? I have a question. So far over the past 60 months, we've spent $120,000, and now we're about to spend another $120,000. Wouldn't it be cheaper for us to just either buy our own modular unit or build it ourselves because of the money that we're spending?
Well, the long-term plans for the city is not to have a modular building.
Correct.
So that when we do some type of enhancement to the police facility, we don't want to have to own that property. The second part of it is those modular buildings require a lot of maintenance and upkeep. So this contract provides for them to come out, repair the air conditionings, fix all of the different things. It's the most economical way to have this modular unit in our back lot. Ideally, we would not like to have that because it is defined, it's a modular unit taking up a lot of space in the back lot and not a long-term solution.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam
Councilmember
Mayor.
Tanaka.
Just a quick comment. Whoever did this negotiation, kudos to them for saving us $12,000. We appreciate that.
Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the lease extension?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Tanaka and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Medina. I'm sorry, will you call the roll?
Okay. Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next up is item number 8D1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8D1 is something that I think we really should be excited about because it's an enhancement of our park facilities. This is to approve plans and specifications for the Raleigh Park exercise equipment area and authorize the purchase of Life Trial advanced wellness outdoor exercise equipment with poured-in-place rubber surfacing for Raleigh Park in the amount of $72,841.27. The City of Gardena applied for and received $250,000 matching grant from the LA County Regional Park and Open Space District. This grant is to be used for improvements at Raleigh Park that included replacing the non-ADA compliant doors with automatic electric operated doors, non-ADA compliant playground equipment with outdoor physical fitness equipment for people of all ages and abilities, and more. Staff investigate different outdoor exercise equipment vendors and systems. Life Trail Advanced Wellness Outdoor Systems by Playworld, which is a subsidiary of Dave Bang Associates, best met our needs while providing the best pricing opportunity using a piggyback option with the Colton Unified School District saving approximately 13%. The proposed exercise equipment provides multiple sided stations with activity instruction panels to provide for easy use and maximum usage. The poured-in-place surface option fully meets handicap accessible requirements. The long-lasting surface is clean, comfortable, and provides exercise opportunities. It's expected to be completed by June 16th. Installation for the Life Trial Advanced Wellness Outdoor Equipment is being bid separately as required. What is the fiscal impact is budget $250,000 in grants plus $250,000 in park and lieu funds plus $100,000 CDBG funding for the doors. The funding source is Proposition A excessive fund grants and park and lieu fees, which required is approved plan and specifications and authorize the purchase of the equipment. In your package, I believe there's pictures of the equipment, which I think is going to be a real enhancement to the park and provide some additional recreational amenities to the park.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Manager, in regards to the upkeep and maintenance after the equipment is brand new, are we going to sock away some money from the park and lieu funds to make sure we can keep our TCO down a little bit?
Yes, under this contract, there's a 5 years for moving part warranty, and there's 10 years for all equipment.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Well, I do. So where exactly will this go? I mean, will it be more towards the back of the park or near where the kids park?
It's located at the bottom of Raleigh Park. The bottom half of Raleigh Park is where this equipment will go, which is very common for seniors to use that as they loop around the park.
Will it be replacing the playground equipment, the lower portion there?
Yes, that playground equipment is no longer ADA accessible and has limited use, so it will replace that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, so at this time, I need a motion to approve the plans and specifications and authorization, and authorize equipment purchase. Can I get a motion?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Kaskanian and a second by Councilmember Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember, excuse me, Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next up is item number 8E1.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda item 8E1A and B is a fiscal year 2018 low carbon transit operation program, which is called LCTOP. Resolution number 6316 authorizes the execution of the certification and assurances, and then resolution number 6317 authorizing project submittal to the California Department of Transportation. The Low Carbon Transit Operation Program, LCTOP, is one of several programs that are part of the Transit Affordable Housing and Sustainable Communities Program established by the California Legislature in 2014 under Senate Bill 862. The program is designed to provide operating and capital assistance for transit agencies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve mobility with a priority of service towards disadvantaged communities. The program is funded by auction proceeds from the California Air Resources Board through the Cap and Trade program. For fiscal year 2017-18, G-Trans is eligible to receive $104,610 under this program. top funding will be allocated to the design and construction of its electric charging station project. To complete the application process and receive funds, G-Trans is required to submit a resolution authorizing the mayor or her designee to act on behalf of the City Council and G-Trans for the purposes of this program and approving the project and project request under the LCTOP. The resolutions will authorize the Director of Transportation to apply, execute and amend the LCTOP application and project and approve the project for submittal to the California Department of Transportation. The last council meeting, you had several other items related to our, project for electric buses. This goes along with that venture. Under the LCTOP program, G-Trans will receive $104,000. It's to support the design of the electric charging station project, which we're going to use every money that we possibly can to make that a reality. There is no general fund impact. It's what's required is adopt resolution number 6316 and resolution number 6317.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments at this time? If not, can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 6316 and resolution number 6317?
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Henderson and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Medina. Will you call the roll?
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, now we're moving on to council items, directives, and remarks. Let's start with council directives. Does any member of the council have any directives at this time? Okay, Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Manager, in regards to the eligibility for our opportunity zones, were we able to take advantage of that or at least apply for it or respond to it?
Unfortunately, due to the timing, we received the notices very late, and we missed it by just a couple days. Yeah, we also did receive it late.
Okay, thank you. Any other directives? Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to ask our city manager if I'd like to request that we review the current financial reporting for committees, boards, and associations. And I recommend outlining a formal process that includes standard guidelines for reporting requirements, auditing process, and a designated place where all the records can be, I guess, maintained. And I would like it to go through the city manager, so this way all the checks and balances can be there. If I can get a second.
I'm sorry, what department are you requesting that for?
I'm requesting that our current financial reporting procedures for all committees and boards and associations be uniform.
Associations.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was just trying to get clarification.
Yeah, because we have committees, we also have boards, and we also have associations.
Got it. Okay, I'll second that. Okay, are there any other directives? I don't know if mine is a directive or a question. So I remember back, I don't know, a couple of years ago when we were doing some type of survey for parks as far as what some of the things that people would like to have in the park. And one of the things that was talked about was getting a dog park here in the city of Gardena. And I don't know if we need to wait to find out. I'm trying to remember how it was done. It was like a survey that was done at all the parks. And I remember Kelly had a team that came out. And we were able to mark on these little boards as far as things that we wanted to see in the community. And I guess my question is, do we have to wait to find out if we're like granted money to get something like a dog park? Or is that something that the city could look into getting a dog park? Only because I'm really seeing the need out there. A lot of people are walking their dogs, and they're starting to say, well, in Gardena, there are no dog parks. The two closest ones, I believe the first one's in El Segundo and the second one is in Redondo Beach. So people have to drive to those locations for a dog park.
So there's two different questions there. I'll address the latter, and I'll ask Kelly if she has any comments, Ms. Fugio, on the survey. As policy makers, the city doesn't need authorization from any other outside bureau to look into or designate, dog parks. Understanding all that, we have limited space at our parks, So without adding some additional space, it may be some challenges, but certainly that's well within the preview of the City Council to direct staff to look into the possibility of that.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, as you remember, we did do surveys amongst all of our locations in the city. Measure A, it was called, we all voted for that in our own voting rights last year, and it was passed. It was passed by a majority of 2/3, so the money will be coming to Gardena. They expect money to be coming in July. I don't know when they'll give us our numbers, but there'll be a per capita element, which is a guaranteed amount of money for us, and there will also be a competitive grant process, kind of like the Prop A that we just approved this other playground equipment with. Dog Park was not in our top 10. Yeah, it's so expensive to purchase land and to provide a space opportunity for a dog park, and when we have other things like our tennis courts and our restrooms and everything else that need to be upgraded and replaced. But hopefully we'll see the money by the end of this calendar year actually in place and working for us.
Okay. Well, thank you for that report. So being that it wasn't in our top 10 there, I'd like to maybe address this as a director to see if that's something that the city could, look at and explore into that option there.
Sure. Is there a second?
Can I get a second on that? I'm sure somebody here has a dog.
I'll
besides
second.
me.
Everyone likes dogs. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
We'll look into that. I mean, obviously, the cities would love to explore opportunities to enhance either pocket parks or other things. It is a costly venture, but there's sometimes opportunities come forward, and we'll definitely keep our eyes open and look at providing a report to the City Council about the costs and what would it take to operate one.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we're going to move on to city manager remarks, directives, and council items.
Thank you, Mayor Serta, members of the City Council. I have a number of different things to talk about, so I'll be really quick. First and foremost, in your council packages, there is a memo about the reorganization of assignments of city council positions, including the mayor pro tem and other delegates to respective committees. What is required, I think, by the City Council is to move forward with affirming the standing appointments, making changes as necessary, and also selection of a next mayor pro tem, which is done by the mayor.
Do we need to do this now, or?
No, this will be placed on the
next
agenda in
agenda?
April.
Okay.
April 10th.
So I guess between now and that time, if any council member would like to change any of their council assignments or alternate assignments, I guess you guys can let the city manager know, and we can look to get that on the agenda by the next meeting. Okay, so we'll move on to city manager remarks. I'm sorry. Did you have more?
I have a lot,
I
sorry.
have one question on that one. So do we just give our responses at the next meeting, or what are we going to do?
No, between now and the next meeting, if you can get that information to the city manager.
Correct, thank you. Next is a memo there regarding Recreation, Human Services, Parks and Facilities Department, providing the membership status of the Gardena Youth Commission. The Gardena Municipal Code guidelines require commission membership, and 10 applications have gathered from young people interested in serving. The application information was compiled for the council to review for possible appointment consideration because the Recreation Division would like to reactivate the commission to ensure that youth of Gardena are well represented in our community. Note that the mayor and council are each to make one nomination for an appointment to the commission. The commission members will then make their recommendation to the city council for the additional 5 members whose appointments would then be considered and ratified by the city council. So I ask that you look at these applications, consider making recommendations at a subsequent council meeting for the Gardena Youth Commission.
Mayor Pro Tem Medina, you have a question in regards to that?
Yes, does it have to be amongst the 10 that you've submitted? Because in the past couple of years, I tried to submit some applications, but at the time, the youth commission wasn't really active, so I was kind of held back. So the question is, do we have to go through those 10, or can we bring children from local high schools?
But it is your appointment, or at least for the 5, so you can, if there's some outside of these, you have obviously the discretion to look at those.
Okay, thank you.
At the last council meeting, there was a presentation by a speaker during oral communications regarding Senate Bill 827, rich house bonuses. You asked and directed us to look at that. There's a council memo in your package. The bottom line is we think this could have significant negative impacts to the city of Gardena, and as described by the speaker last last meeting, I think it would be in the best interest to prepare a resolution for the City Council to oppose this legislation. It is also a top priority for the California League of Cities to oppose this legislation. So I would like to, if possible, get a directive from the city to bring that back towards for the next council meeting.
Okay, well, I'll give the directive to bring that back for the next council meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead.
As some residents come in and complain about different things, there was a sidewalk repair request at 15303 Purchase. Our Public Works Department went out there and they fixed it. And I just want to let you know that when these people come forward and complain about different things, our follow-up by our staff is incredibly fast. And the vast majority of the time, our residents are very happy. The next item you have is a memo regarding the two trees in front of the fire station. Mayor Serta inquired about the large pines. These are really huge pines that have been there for a long time. They were the subject of some controversy when we were going to put a drought tolerance landscaping in there, and at that time the City Council elected not to remove them because of their age, and part of being in the landscaping motif of the City Hall complex. Although they are causing considerable problems with the fire station, and two things in particular: the pine needles fall directly on a flat roof that has to constantly be cleaned, and then the second thing is that they have attracted rodents. My recommendation is to reevaluate the trees to ensure that they're still healthy, have them reduced and trimmed to the extent possible while keeping them healthy. You can't cut them down too much or else it does compromise them, and then reevaluate that after between 6 and 12 months to see what the status is. So if that's okay with the City Council, I'd like to move forward with that recommendation.
Okay, and can you also address the issue with the rodents as far as how that would be handled?
Yes, the county fire department is responsible for their own rodent maintenance. I don't know if it's called maintenance, but elimination. The city is responsible for the other facilities. The most adjacent one would be the Nakaoka Center.
Okay, thank you. And also one other thing, and I don't know if it was mentioned in that email, if those pine cones are causing any plumbing issues, or like if they're some kind of way falling in the pipes and things like that, whose responsibility would that be?
Well, it is our facility.
Okay.
Although the LA County Fire Department has been responsible for most of the maintenance, we have not had a major, below ground infrastructure issue there. I mean, they've had air conditioning issues and other things that the county has made improvements. They've had internal improvements. Okay. I think that's something that we would have to work out with the county itself. The underground infrastructure could be subject for debate on whose responsibility that would be.
Okay, thank you.
Next, there's a detailed memo. You get these memos fairly frequently, not every council meeting, but probably every other one, about development activity within our community. You can see that there's a lot going out there. I do want to point out number 15 on that list, the Firestone that burned down several years ago on Gardena Boulevard has potential project submission there, which is nice, rather than seeing the vacant parcel there. It's about between 7,000 and 10,000 square feet of retail, and then housing above that, mixed-use project with parking in the back. So unfortunately, that parcel has been vacant a long time, and it is one of our areas that we want to revitalize. I think it also goes along well with the recently approved project at the old YWCA property, sort of in the same sort of genre of product types. For all of you know, there's been a lot of controversy recently about the 2020 census. I didn't bring this up because of the controversy. I just was bringing this up because it is a very important tool that the city must capitalize on and we must take a different approach than we have in the last census. It is my recommendation that we set up a 2020 Census Committee to do as much outreach and to gather, and to document the people that live in Gardena in the most effective way. So what I'll be planning on doing as we move forward, I know it seems like a long ways away, but setting up a committee of all department members and external stakeholders to really go out there and make sure everyone's counted. Those counts represent a lot of different things for us, grant funding, allocations. There's a lot of different things, and this time I think we need to be very aggressive going out there. I know the COG, the South Bay COG, is very active in ensuring that all our communities are properly represented, and I'm going to ask all of you to be participants in ensuring that getting the word out so that we have the right population counted and we have the right information for our communities.
Go ahead.
Also, Mr. City Manager, in regards to that committee, we need to, because the state of California is suing the government on that issue, but we really need to make sure that people understand it's not us collecting data to find out who you are, where you are, and stuff like that. It's really about Gardena getting its fair share of resources. So if we say we're approximately 62,000 now, and let's say our population has grown to 70,000 as an example, but we only count less than 62,000, we only get the resources for that level, and it hurts us getting funding and everything like that. So in our education, as we proclaim the gospel of the census, we need to make sure everybody understands that it's not about trying to find status or anything like that. So we can work on that for sure.
Yeah, you're absolutely on point on that. I imagine, we're using all aspects of communication, traditional media, social media, our billboards, everything we could possibly do, and then obviously community meetings to encourage that we're all represented. Next, there's been an inquiry about what joining the National League of Cities would provide to the city. Our current staff is currently looking into the advantages of joining the National League of Cities. I don't have a formal report to provide, but I do want you to know that it is in the works. There are some advantages. There obviously the downside is the cost. The next thing is all of you should have a memo directed to you from it was written by Ms. Fugio, was how can our elected officials, all of you, get involved in the Wall of Heels? It's a very detailed memo that describes how all of you can participate in a number of events that occur with that. I want to thank Ms. Fugio for providing that, and I also want to encourage all of you to try to take an active role in this. It's a really great opportunity for the city to have this, and if you have any questions or anything that needs to be coordinated, please let me know, and my staff will take care of that. Just a couple good things that are happening. I know we had Sarah High School here, but Sarah High School has become a sports powerhouse, both with male sports and female sports, and it's pretty cool that they took the CAF state championships in girl basketball recently, and we all know that their male basketball team and their football team is really good, but their women's basketball team is clearly the best in the CIF, so that's really great to have that school in our city representing us so well. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is that when members come up, community members come up on the podium and they have a complaint or some request or something like that, before they leave this council chamber, that is entered in Gardena Direct and is already assigned to employees that are responsible for that. So not that I'm encouraging people here to do that, because you can do the same thing Gardena Direct, but our turnaround time is very, very fast. So the person that spoke on the parking issue has already been entered in Gardena Direct for follow-up and a report back to the City Council. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Oh, okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to council remarks. First up is Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, and I can put my announcements in there too. Since our last meeting, I was able to participate in the career day at Perry Middle School. So that was a great opportunity. I want to thank all the staff there, Ms. Santos, Principal Marva Patton, assistant principals, Tanua Thompson, Davion Freeman. I had an opportunity to visit Ms. Pursley's 7th grade English class. I invited them tonight, but I guess they're on spring break, so nobody's going to come and do some extra work, as well as Mr. Wu's keyboarding and computers class. So that was a great event. Also, since our last meeting, I attended the community coffee with Assemblyman Al Marisucci which was a pretty good event. He had to leave, so I had to fill in the last 45 minutes of the event. So I was able to hold an impromptu community forum. So that was pretty good. Encourage all those that attended that some of their concerns that were leveled at the assembly persons is something that we could handle if they let us know, or use Gardena Direct or different things like that. So I reminded the community of that. I also attended partially the active shooter training that was held by Lieutenant Vince Osorio in Nakioka Center. That was real critical information to get out there to our community. Active shooter incidents can happen anywhere, anytime, so we want to make sure that we're prepared as best we can be for such an incident. It's unfortunate that we're talking about issues like that, but that's something that's now occurring in society. Next couple events that are coming up on April 7th, Saturday, there will be the Open City Hall at Raleigh Park. I'll be at the Baseball Diamond sitting there from 9 to noon on Saturday, April 7th. And then on April 11th, Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m., or 1 p.m., excuse me, at Nakioka Center, the California Department of Business Oversight will be holding a California Financial Literacy Month resource fair for anyone to come out. Last time we targeted seniors. We want to make sure everybody comes out, understand about fraud alerts and consumer protection and different things like that. I want to thank city staff again for our study session on the eBid or ePlanet eBids in regards to how we can move forward with putting our requests for proposals for city work online so we can actually get some benefits on that and save staff time. So I want to thank the staff for that. The only other things I want to say is, Madam Mayor, if we could adjourn in the memories of Miss Bobby Williams. She just passed this past week. She's a resident on Daphne Avenue. She passed at 70 years old. And also if we could adjourn in the memory of Linda Brown. Brown is the key Brown in the Brown versus Board of Education. That's landmark case. She was 75 years old. For those that don't know, the Brown versus Board of Education was a landmark decision that was actually litigated by Thurgood Marshall, and it dealt with school desegregation. So we all definitely owe her as a pioneer for that. And one other thing, Madam Mayor, if we could adjourn in the memory of Councilwoman Mariela Franco of Brazil. She was a stalwart and a leader. She was known for her work on working on fighting corruption and different things in their community. She was assassinated, unfortunately, for her stand. So we should be honored that we live in America and we can espouse our differences without that concern about being attacked or assassinated or different things like that. So we want to see if we can adjourn in her memory. Madam Mayor, so ends my report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up is Mayor Pro Tem Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last city council meeting, I had the pleasure to visit the Long Beach Veterans Hospital, which we visit every 90 days. Excuse me. And it's led by the Gardena Elks 1919. We had about 9 volunteers, and we were serving a little over 20 soldiers. We always go there every 90 days on the 3rd Tuesday of the month. And this time we donated close to $2,500 in donations, which includes a lot of handmade scarves knitted by the ladies of the Elks. We take food there, we play bingo, and they went up to about $500. And we had a couple of blind soldiers that actually won. Of course, you know, we go out and sit with the soldiers, and they're really happy about that. We're very proud of the fact that we've been doing that for quite a few years. And we have brand new clothes, T-shirts, underwear, socks, pajamas, you name it, we have it there, with the exception of blankets and diapers, because they provide that at the hospital. But they're very, very thankful over the fact that, number one, the New Challenge Ministries donates their truck so we can carry all that stuff to the hospital and donate it. I used to be able to carry it in my car, but now we have so much stuff. We have T-shirts going from small, medium, and large up to 7X. I'd never seen a 7X T-shirt until last Tuesday, and it's big T-shirt. So we've gotten a lot of donations, all that through the Elks and the family services that they provide for our community, especially our veterans. And I just want to thank everyone for those of you who donated to the Elks. I also attended the State of the City, which kudos to our mayor. And I was corrected, we were down 1% on our crime instead of up 1%. So I was really happy that we're in a good state of a city, to a point where all the other cities around us are jealous. And our city manager won't admit it, but we get a lot of phone calls from other cities asking how we do what we do, especially our Parks and Rec, which is outstanding compared to all the other Parks and Recs. So again, kudos to Kelly Fugio and the staff as well. A lot of other cities want to try to copy us, even though we're smaller than they are. But we're leading the South Bay in a lot of the things that we do, and I'm really proud of that. And again, kudos to you for a State of the City address. And this coming Friday, I'll be distributing birthday cakes to the convalescent homes and also to our senior citizens here in the city of Gardena. So that is my report. Oh, I want to say hi to my granddaughter, Angelina.
Okay. Next up is Councilmember Kaskanian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, I attended the State of the City as well, too. Great presentation. I'm glad we are in a good place. And I would like to thank Stephanie for preparing the PowerPoint presentation. And Madam Mayor, together with Stephanie, you guys did a great job. I like it, and I guess we are moving forward with the technology now. Yeah. And on March 17th, I attended annual competition demonstration at the G-Trans. It was very exciting seeing all the bus driver, how they maneuvering between the cones, and they making U-turn, they speeding up to 40 miles an hour, and they stop within few feet. Ernie, it was a great event. Thank you very much. Even though, I don't know if we came the first or the second. But the reason is, I know what was the reason, because it was too windy, and the bus was trying to make a right turn and knocked one of the cones. So I know that's the reason. Otherwise, it would have been number one. Yes, it was wind. We're going to blame the wind, yes. And Madam Mayor, I will encourage everybody to visit next week the Vietnam Memorial Wall that it's going to happen here at the Mas Phu Khai Park. And I would like to wish everybody happy Easter. Our Lord Jesus has been risen, and that will end my report.
Okay, thank you. And for myself, since the last council meeting, I too was at the State of the City address, and I just want to thank the community for coming out. It was just great seeing so many people there who were interested in knowing, where the city has how it's changed over the past year. And I'd just like to thank my colleagues, because even though I gave the address, I mean, this basically attributed back to what we as a council have done in moving the city forward, as well as the department heads and all of the employees and staff here. So I'd like to just thank all of you guys, because, we as a team made this happen here, as well as some of our other community partners, the nonprofits that, help in so many ways, and the commissions and boards and so on. So it's the entire effort of all of that that makes Gardena the great city that it was. I just had the opportunity to present it, which was fun. But also, since the last city council meeting, I attended the 5-Star Bus Rodeo, and as Councilmember Kaskanian said, it was a lot of fun. And it's unfortunate we came in second place, but in the past we've come in first place before, and we still have great drivers out there. So it was just great being out there to root for the drivers and just have a lot of fun with them. And also on that same day, I attended the Koi show here in the city. And if you've never been to the Koi show here in Gardena, it's pretty impressive. They have tons of pools out on the quad area here with very expensive koi fish. Some fish, they were about this big here, and they were worth as much as $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, variety, all different types of colors and shapes and so on these koi fish. So it was pretty impressive. And then later on that evening, they had like an awards dinner here at the Nak Oka Center, and that was a lot of fun attending too, and seeing the the grand prize winner and all the different winners for all the different levels of fish there. There was a variety of different type of judging on, you know, how long the fish was, the how big, wide, color, shapes, and so on. And it was pretty impressive just learning the process that they go through just to make the fish have certain shapes on their bodies, which was very interesting. And I'm not going to say that, which was. Okay, thank you. But yeah, it was really interesting to see that and to learn the amount of money that the koi fish owners, how much they spend in a year's time just having ponds that, you know, keep the koi fish in. Some of them mentioned like their electric bill is as much as $1,500, and that's a lot to spend, you know, as a hobby for koi fish, but it was pretty impressive as well. So I was happy to be able to attend that. Also, I attended the DCS annual meeting that was hosted here at G-Trans, and DCS is basically the Disaster Communication Service group. They're a group of people with the county that deal with the ham radio. So in the event of an emergency, they're the ones who are able to work with our CERT team and communicate between cities. So they had their annual meeting, which comes once a year, and this year in the city of Gardena, we hosted it. So that was really nice. And then on last Wednesday, I attended the City of Hawthorne's, their State of the City address. I was a little jealous to know that the company Ring is moving to the City of Hawthorne and not Gardena, but, you know, we'll reach out to some of these other companies and try to get them here. But overall, it was a really nice State of the City. And then on last Saturday, I had the opportunity to attend just a couple of minutes of the active shooter class that was held here at Nakaoka Center. And I know the class was filled to capacity, but I believe they're going to have more classes coming forward because there were a lot of people who were interested in learning more about active shooter. And the one thing I'd like to encourage people, those who stayed and took the entire class, or those who are going to take the class moving forward, definitely share that information with your family, your kids, and anybody you come in contact with, because it always surprises me to hear that how a lot of schools, they're not prepared for active shooter. I've heard of one school that has an active shooter drill, but I don't know that any of the other schools around here, like Gardena High School, Perry, or Sarah, if they have, you know, active shooter drills. They have earthquake drills and fire drills, but not active shooter drills. And as Councilmember Henderson said, it's unfortunate that we're at a time when we have to even do this, but you know, this is what's happening, and the best thing we can do is prepare for it. So we're fortunate enough to have somebody who can teach a class in active shooter and teach us the best things we can do to try to protect ourselves. But you know, that's one of the things that I hope that everybody, as I said, who takes the class and who will be taking it, please just share the information with others. And with that, that ends my report, and I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Tanaka.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I attended the State of the City. I was very proud of you. You did a really great job. You weren't just a talking head. You had a whole bunch of visuals and things that people actually enjoyed. I heard a lot of great comments after that about what a great job you did. So I'm very proud to be a part of this council because of you. I gave blood. Thanks, Kelly. Hopefully you guys did really well. Maybe the next one will get more. G-Trans, I'm sorry I didn't make it, but our church lost a really great member. She's a school teacher, one of our Sunday school teachers, and just a really godly woman, Carol Ellen, who had passed away at a young age, and I was at that funeral, so I'm sorry I missed that. Mr. Dalrymple, I know you went home, but for those Gardena High School, whether you're and I'll always be a Mohican, but whether you're a Mohican or a Panther, and you hear this, I'm putting a challenge out to help this event, and I'm pledging $100 right now, so if anybody wants to match that, I'm sending that to Gardena High School for their art project. Let's see, Jose's not here tonight, and we send our condolences to him and his family on the passing of his father, so we're sorry about that. I noticed tonight in remembrances, Mr. Watson Noda, a great member of our community. I was unaware that he had passed on, but to the family, I'm sorry, and I hope to hear when the funeral arrangements are. And then I think I just want to wish everybody a happy Easter. Remember, it's not about Easter bunnies. It's not about chocolate eggs. It's about our risen Lord. So just celebrate Easter and then have a lot of fun after finding eggs. So thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. And I'm just going to read a couple of announcements that are coming up. The first one, as was mentioned earlier during oral communication, Breakfast with the Easter Bunny is this coming Saturday, March 31st, 2018 at the Nakoka Community Center from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. And the Easter egg hunt begins at 10 a.m. on City Hall lawn. And there will also be an Easter egg hunt at Freeman, Raleigh Park, Fukai Park at 10 a.m. and a puppet show as well at 10:45. Also, we have another landlord workshop that will be on Tuesday, April 3rd, 2018 at the Nakoka Community Center from 2 to 4 p.m. And it's free to attend, and I definitely want to encourage landlords to come out to this. A lot of good information you can learn from this. I attended one of their classes, and along with the information that they're going to cover, like, fair housing laws, rental increases, eviction processes, there's, at the end of the meeting, there's like an open question and answer. So if it's not something that they're discussing that day, you can ask other questions as it relates to being a landlord. So this is a really good resource if you're a landlord in the community. And also, I'd like to mention or remind everybody, Ms. Francis mentioned it, the MLK program honoring Dr. King. It will be on Wednesday, April 4th at 7 p.m. at Raleigh Park. And also, there is a Too Toxic to Trash free household hazardous and e-waste recycling roundup on Saturday, April 7th from 9 to 3. It's not in Gardena, but it's in our neighboring city, Hawthorne, at the Betty Answorth Sports Center, which is at 3851 West El Segundo Boulevard. So with that, we're going to move, oh, I'm sorry, the most important one. Also want to remind everybody again about the Wall That Heals. And again, as was mentioned, they are looking for volunteers, which to help, I believe, with set up starting on Wednesday, April 4th. And the telephone number for those who are interested in volunteering is 310-217-9537. And you can start visiting the wall from April 4th after 2 p.m. For 24 hours. And then the big ceremony, which will be on Saturday, April 7th at 10 a.m. So we definitely want to encourage everyone to attend. And I think that's going to be a really great event here. So tonight we're going to adjourn our meeting in memory of Mr. Watson Kazuki Noda, which was 97 years old and a longtime resident of Gardena. He was active in the community, a founder member of the commander of VFW Post 1961, who served faithfully in the U.S. Army in Austria during World War II. We also like to adjourn in memory of Mr. James Ely, who was 81 years old, a former Gardena resident and a member of the City of Gardena Human Services Commission from 1999 until April 2005. We're also going to adjourn in memory of Mr. John Francisco, a longtime resident of Gardena, commander of the William Stark Rosecrans VFW Post 3261, and a U.S. Army military veteran honored by the City Council on January 23, 2018. We're also going to be adjourning in memory of Mrs. Bobby Williams, who was 70 years old and a resident of Gardena. And also we'll be adjourning in memory of Mrs. Linda Brown, who was known for the landmark case, Brown versus the Board of Education. And we'll also be adjourning in memory of the council member from Brazil, council member Marcela Franco. So the Gardena City Council meeting will now adjourn to our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting, which will be at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. We are adjourned.